All right, hello life leaders. This is my second take. Apparently I did not have volume on the last one. Hopefully you can hear me this time. All right, well, today, it's Friday, the 31st of January. Oh my gosh, this year's going by fast already. Where does it go? It's pretty interesting, actually. A friend of mine was talking about student loans the other day, and it really made me start thinking about the underlying reasons of why we hold on to our student loans. And you know, several of my clients were having the same issue, and my friends, we all talk about the fact that we've got these student loans that have been hanging and lingering over us for a very long time, right? Now, hi Melissa, so good to see you. I personally have finally paid off my student loans back in 2016, but to give you a little bit of background, well, first let me introduce myself. Hi, I am Sheila Wood. I'm the CEO of Lead Life by Design, and I'm the creator of the Financial Alignment Academy, where we actually blend thank you so much, Melissa. That's where we actually blend personal development with our personal financial strategies. I think it's very important to really look underneath why we have the patterns that we have and the belief systems that we have to be able to make a financial plan successful. So one of the, oh, thank you. Okay. One of the really cool parts about it is when you really recognize the why behind your patterns, you're able to kind of shift them. And now with student loans, it's no different. With my friend talking about the fact that so many people hold on to their student loans, no matter what their economic level is, right? The idea of paying back a student loan is daunting and it's depressing. And there is so much energy behind this particular loan. You know, it's one of the things that we tend to do while we're going through school is sacrifice, right? And in that sacrifice comes the end of school and our need to do something different, right? So I'm going to hold off on that thought because it is one of our 6 reasonings behind it. The student loan crisis in America is $1.56 trillion, 45 million borrowers. And this is 2019 statistics according to Forbes.com. 11.4% of those are 90 days plus delinquent. $111 billion of that is in forbearance. And if you don't know what forbearance is, that's where we have the ability to delay paying our loans, whether it be a medical forbearance or a life situation forbearance. It's just a reason to delay the payments based on our economic situation at the time or some kind of life event or emergency at the time that's not allowing us to make those payments. So in that is the cost of funds, right? When we do that, and holding on to our loans for such a long time has such a cost of funds impact that some people are actually literally doubling the amount of money that it costs them to pay for their education. And I was one of those people. And in that process, learning how to not only use student loans properly, but then how to create that plan and stick with it to be able to pay that off is really an emotional weight, right? I want to take out the economic piece for this particular training today. I want to really hone in on the emotional side of why we hold on to these loans. Because the economic piece, yes, it's there, right? You know, the system might be broken. There's different opinions on how that is, but I want to take that piece out. And I really want to hone in on the personal responsibility piece and the subconscious piece of why it's so difficult to let go. So the first one that I really want to hone in on is fear. fear. A lot of people I know that go through school, especially the young ones, you know, they go through college because they know they have to, but they don't really have a direction of what it is exactly that they're wanting to do. So they're picking and choosing, right? They're going to career counseling. They're trying to figure out what direction do I want to go into. When they get to the end, they're still not 100% sure about what it is that they want to do for the rest of their life, right? So there's a lot of pressure on them. Their life is beginning. Adulting is beginning. And here they are really with a degree that they're not 100% sure that they even wanted. And the debt that goes with that, right? There's also the feel of failure. You know, what happens when I step into this adulting life and I'm not good enough? I can't hack it, right? But what about success? The fear of success is also a huge piece. Being seen. For people like me, being seen was such a difficult challenge for me. It took practice to become the extroverted person that I am today. Because I was extremely shy. I was the wallflower. I was the one that said nothing in the room. I just sat there and smiled. So the fear of success means the fear of being seen. And stepping into this career is even pushing me further into that fear and through that fear. But those were life choices that I made to be able to get through it. Some people get stuck in the fear of success because it's not an easy challenge to get through, but it is possible. Fear of the unknown. Not really knowing what to expect. Not knowing if they're going to be good enough. Not knowing if it's going to pay the bills. Not knowing if, you know, they're going to be liked. Stepping into a new career. The who am I? Who am I to do this job? Like maybe the degree was such a big dream that they really fought hard for it. And now they're stepping into the reality of what that degree is giving them. So there's so much fear there of who am I? And sometimes it just keeps them from stepping into it completely or at all. And because they don't step into it at all, they're not making the income they expected to make, and therefore they're creating this economic crisis in their personal life that they can't pay it back. But the underlying reason is because they're afraid to step into what the degree has given them the opportunity to step into. So that's fear. Number 2, shame. Believe it or not, there is a lot of shame around the degrees that we get and the debt that we carry. Not for everyone, right? I'm just giving you options and things to think about because it might not fit for you. But really look into the shame. The shame of spending all this money and getting a degree that you hate. You hate it. You hate everything about what you learned. It was an entire struggle the entire time. So how in the world can you step into a career that you hate, carrying the shame about the fact that you hate it and you can't tell anybody about it? And you feel like you can't do anything about it. The cost is too great, right? So now you resent the degree, so you resent paying the loan back because it's a hardship. How about everyone's judgment towards your subject? Maybe you actually love your degree and there's so much judgment towards it because it's not a degree that's going to make you a lot of money. You know, being a social worker doesn't bring you a lot of money, but it does bring you personal value. It brings you personal joy if that's the life that you stepped into for that reason. So there's a money difference there just for the sheer fact that everybody's judging you for choosing the path that you chose. When you step into that type of a lifestyle that doesn't pay the money, it's completely about the plan on getting that thing paid back, right? That's where the strategy comes into place. That's blending your passion with your strategy, blending your development with your strategy. How about not meeting up to the parent standards? For me, it was about not really knowing if I was going to be good enough to meet, well, my dad specifically, because he was pretty critical. He's not even here for me to have that feeling towards, but I still have a feeling of judgment when it comes to being good enough. Like, am I even good enough to step into this? Are my parents going to be proud that I'm stepping into this? It's different for everyone. You know, maybe you chose a degree that your parents don't agree with, and it's a constant emotional struggle there. So again, paying off those loans go right back to the resentment and the energy you're carrying around the degree that you have. And when you have shame around the degree that you have, it's very difficult to actually feel good about paying off your debt. Not good enough is the last piece. Not, who am I? You know, it steps into a lot of pieces. Who am I to do this? I was a C average person. Maybe that's what you're thinking. I know when I went through my grad degree, I struggled with some of those classes. I wasn't a straight A student. But the bottom line is the degree gave me the confidence and the knowledge to know that I can learn anything. I am capable. If you didn't walk away with that feeling and getting your degree, no matter what your grade was, then it's difficult to let go of the shame of actually getting the degree. It kind of conflicts with the joy that you actually have the physical piece of paper. But how do you step into a new life when you carry in shame about how you got your degree? That shame prevents us from wanting to pay our loans back. Hi, Connie. Thanks for joining again. Do you hear me now? I hope so, because I'm talking for a while. All right, the next one is badge of honor. I know for a fact that I carried the badge of honor, the ability to say that I have got my degree and I paid so much money for it, right? You know, when we look at our balance of having a degree for, or a debt towards our degree, you know, it gives us a conversation piece. It gives us an ability to communicate with other people because there's so many people that have it, right? You see a lot of attorneys and doctors and CPAs and high-end people that have very large student loans. You know, they may be looking at the economical side of things too, but it's a conversation piece. It's a badge of honor to say that my loans were such and such dollars. What were yours, right? My degree came from Stanford and it cost twice as much as yours. There's a status quo there. But the debt's still the debt. And not being willing to let go of the debt because you're honored to have that debt makes it difficult to actually continue to make a plan to pay it off. Now that feeds into a couple of the other situations here, but it's an honor to have a degree, and it is an honor to have been able to make a loan to pay for it if you weren't in the position to be able to do so in the first place. And that conversation can be after it's paid off. It's actually so much easier when it's paid off. Trust me, it's nice. Right? So it allows for pride and comparison when it comes to being a badge of honor. All right, this one is huge, and it's all about blame. The unfair system. It is unfair that we have to pay so much money for our education. So screw you, I'm not paying you back. I'm going to give you the minimum for the rest of my life. And when I die, it's going to go away, right? add up that minimum over your lifespan, it gets expensive. That's money that you could be having experiences with. That's money that you could be having an increased lifestyle with. That's money that you could be spending time with your children with. That ability and that need to hold on to it not being your fault, that it's everyone else's fault, keeps you from being able to move forward. Because debt is a very heavy energy and it follows you everywhere you go. Student loan debt specifically follows you. Like, you can't even write it off if you have to go through foreclosure or bankruptcy, sorry, wrong word. Like, it won't go away unless you are in dire straits. A lot of people hold on to their the system that's called forgiveness, the forgiveness systems, which is for public services and teachers and other type of forgiveness programs. And they say, I'm just going to pay the minimum and it's going to hit that point and then it's going to be all forgiven and gone, right? A lot of those forgiveness programs have specifications like paying it consistently for 10 years. When you look at how much you're paying over the next 10 years for it, you've already paid your loan off. You've paid the principal off. But you haven't actually touched the principal because of the way you've structured your repayment plan. Relying on programs like that to get rid of your student loan debt does not work. As a matter of fact, out of the 189,000 borrowers, this is 2019 statistics, by the way, there were 190,000 borrowers. 49,000 actually applied for the student loan forgiveness programs. Out of the 49,000 applications, only 423, that's 423, actually were approved. Hi, Steve. Thank you for joining me. Out of the 423 that were approved, only 206 were actually received. That's 206 people out of 49,000 applications. And these are people that are paying minimum on these loans for the 10 years that they're supposed to pay for them and hoping at that point that they're going to be forgiven. And they've literally doubled and tripled the cost of their education just for the sheer fact that they think they deserve it. So being able to look at that differently is going to help you, number one, let go of the energy around it. And number two, allow you to create a plan to get rid of it. Because now you've let go of the feeling of it being unfair, right? All right, the next one, deserving. When we are going through school, I don't know about you, but for me, this was me. We sacrifice a lot. We're sacrificing money, we're sacrificing time, we're sacrificing our family, we're sacrificing our energy, we're sacrificing our mental stability, right? We are sacrificing consistently for 2 to 4 years, depending on the degree. When we get to the end of that degree, we just want to breathe. We just want to breathe. We want to start our life. That's the whole point of getting an education, is to start our life, to be able to afford the life we want. So what happens when we get done? Instead of continuing to sacrifice for a short period of time to get it paid off, to pay off the investment that we gave ourselves, we start living the lifestyle. We start stepping into the lifestyle immediately because we want to breathe. We deserve it. We've been working hard. I want that house. I want the new car. Right? We increase our lifestyle directly after, as soon as we get that new job that's doubled our income, right? The education gave you the opportunity to make more money. Now that we're making more money, we're increasing our lifestyle immediately because we deserve it. When really, if we just sacrificed 1 or 2 more years, just lived within our means, below our means, at the point where we're already living there. To be able to stay there for a shorter period of time, to get it paid off, you can actually increase your lifestyle tenfold when it's done. Because now you've got time under your belt, you've got experience under your belt, you've got your degree under your belt, and now you're making more money and moving up the ladder. And you don't have to worry about the debt anymore. It's gone. So that's deserving. I'm sure I could talk more on that, but I'm kind of trying to keep it a little short here. All right. The last one that I have is major life events. This always throws this under the rug when it comes to our personal finance plan, right? Major life events can truly change the trajectory of the plan that you have in place, and student loans are no different. What happens when a major life event happens with our student loans? First thing we do is apply for a forbearance. We have a new baby that's going to cost us $800–900 a month or more. I can't afford to pay the loan back now. I need to take me some time to get back up there, right? Let me get the child grown a little bit. So I'm going to defer this over here so that I can take care of this over here. That deferment, depending on the type of loan you have, continues to create interest, right? It continues to grow. You not seeing it, you not paying attention to it, and you not paying on it doesn't change the fact that interest is still growing. And some of these loans capitalize at the end. As soon as your forbearance is done, it capitalizes. So all that interest that it accumulated over the time that you needed to take care of this over here has now tacked on to the back as principal. So now you're paying, not only are you paying more for your loan, but now you're paying interest on interest. That capitalization will literally double and triple the cost of your education in a very short period of time. My experience, I did that. I did that as I was growing until I really recognized that it's not doing me any good. And the only reason I kept doing that was because I felt like I deserved the time. I felt like I deserved to breathe. And that was the only loan that would allow me to do that. There's a reason that that's the only loan that allows you to do that. The only way that loan goes away is if you die, which is sad. So there are many, many other emotional and psychological reasons why we hold on to student loans. Economic factors aside, you know, when you start stepping into your worth, when you start stepping into the belief that you can do anything that you want to do, when you start stepping into the passion that you have for life and the passion you have for different things and being able to monetize on those by allowing it to come, your income's going to grow. Your ability to pay these loans off are going to grow. Your desire to pay these loans off is going to grow. Because when they're gone, you can breathe. That I promise. Sallie Mae has great resources on student loans. Read it, go through it. You can learn a lot about what the impact of holding on to these loans are for you. But I highly recommend looking at the psychological reasons why it's so important for you to hold on to them. I have people that have literally held on to them for 30 years because it's just not something they want to pay off. They paid off all their other debt. Why? Because they're held accountable for that debt. But this one, as soon as all the other debts are gone, they start minimum on this, minimum on this. I don't want to put any more of my money towards it. But you have to put your money towards it. You have to make a commitment to yourself to do that, to let it go. I hope this helps. I know my subjects are a little heavy because anytime you deal with the emotions or the psychology around things, it's heavy, and I apologize, it is. But on the other side of things, the joy and the freedom that comes is a miracle. It truly is. You breathe, you can have life. The possibilities for you become open because you're not carrying all the weight of where you are today. So I hope you like it. Please like the video below. Leave a comment if there's something that comes up for you about your student loans that's outside of the economical side of things. I know that there's a lot of economical stuff that goes on. You know, maybe you're not making the money to be able to afford it. And I get that. What I'm saying is, why are you not making the money, right? Why are you not making the money that you can afford it? Why aren't you stepping into something more than where you are? And that's really about finding out who you are, finding out what your passion is, what your mission in life, and stepping into and through the fear of doing something different. That's all on you. I'm here to help you. Please contact me. I would be happy to answer any of your questions. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you all for joining me, Melissa and Connie and Stephen. I so appreciate you. And I will see you next Friday. All right. Thanks.